Hi everyone, Dory Ransom here with Be Great, aligning business strategy with soul and spirit. And today we're here with Celia Wallace. She's one of our fantastic speakers, and she's doing really amazing things out in the world, changing the world one businesswoman at a time. So welcome. Thank you so much for being here today.
Yay. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to connect with you and for all of the viewers.
Yeah, I'm so excited to connect with you. Why don't you share with everybody, just who are you? What are you up to?
Well, I'm sure like most people watching, I'm multi-talented, I'm multi-passionate. At this stage in my life, I am a mom. I have two beautiful daughters who are 9 and 6, and I am a wife to my husband, Joe. We've been together for about 18 years, and I am a soulful CEO. I have a beautiful business, and I help primarily emerging and aspiring female spiritual entrepreneurs. So people who are working a 9 to 5, maybe feeling like they're having that light bulb moment of their life is supposed to be about something bigger and better, and that they have wasted potential and purpose that they haven't discovered, and they're curious to find their path, and they're curious to possibly create a business, and within that possibly an online business, as well as women who are somewhere 1 to 10 years into business and maybe have something out there, but they feel like it's not really authentically aligned with who they are. They're not showing up in their fullest expression of themselves, and they really want to combine, starting to make money, which is important when you're running a business, with all of that good, soulful, spiritual self-care practices. And so my main love offering is this amazing online business, soulful business course with me, which is called the Superfly Soulful Business Program, where I help women do that over the course of 8 weeks. We sort of unpack it all, identify their purpose, identify who they're meant to serve, what their beautiful gifts they're going to create in the world are, and then all that fun business side of stuff that you really need somebody to hold your hand and walk you through, of all the steps that are involved in just even getting your business off the ground and eventually attracting clients and making your first dollars. So that's my focus at this time, is those 3 pillars on, it's all about soul care, which is the inner work, and then soul purpose, discovering what you do once you figure out who you are, and then soul business. If you decide to start a business around your purpose, we do that too.
Oh, that is so great. There's so many of us out there trying to figure out how to do exactly that. How do we align our life's purpose with working in a capacity that actually allows us to make money and go beyond allowing us to make money, but setting up a life of abundance. So what would you say, what would you say to someone that was really curious about what you do and they're floundering and they're just not sure if you're the right fit? What would that conversation sound like?
If they're not sure what they're doing is right fit, or if that I'm the right fit?
If they're exploring you, if they're trying to figure that out about you, how would that conversation go?
Yeah, well, what you see is what you get with me. And so, most people tell me, I've done lots of surveys on what's the thing you love the most about me and my brand, so that I can really start getting good, research and feedback. And I'd say the number one thing is that they say I'm very real, approachable, transparent, and vulnerable. And that has really been the key for me to creating a really standout, recognizable, influential business, has been for me to own who I am, what's unique about me. You see the backdrop, you see the hot pink lips, I own who I am. I own my style. I own my viewpoints. I own my bumps and my bruises and the traumas and things that I've been through. And I infuse them into every aspect of what I create in the world, with the primary goal to really empower others to do the same, and to give people the permission to show up to be the fullest expression of themselves and to really realize that fullest potential. And so I'm the type of person that if you're looking for somebody who really is a kick-ass business person, because that is something I can't escape it. It's this, beautiful gift. I am a leader. I ton about business. And then also I am somebody who is highly spiritual and soulful, and I practice every day. I practice in the morning, I practice at night, I practice all day long. I'm constantly doing my best to continue to stay aligned with what I believe is my source, as well as the divine within myself. And just remembering that I have everything that I need within me, all the tools I need to help guide me on my path to figure out where I'm not resonating, aligning, being congruent, and really showing up to attract those perfect soul clients, as well as the money and meaning and impact that comes along with it. And so I think that I'm really unique in the sense that I'm able to fuse both, the literal how-to step-by-step tutorials of everything that you need to know how to do, but also with the really heart-centered, grounding, sort of intuitive aspect of, okay, but let's get really, really crystal clear on who you are and how you're supposed to be showing up in the world.
There's so many things about you that I absolutely love. I love that you own your feminine power, that you wear your pink lipstick, that you just look beautiful, and that you've got that flair behind you, and it's just a part of your brand and who you are. I love your willingness to be vulnerable, because I think that's one of our gifts as women, that we are really allowed to be vulnerable, but we've been told that it doesn't belong in business. And I totally disagree with that. I think that when we can be vulnerable, that's when we are transparent. That's when we are in alignment, and we really connect with people, because we're all the same. We're all different, but we're all really the same, wanting the same things, wanting to succeed, wanting to fit in, wanting to find and live our life's purpose. So I have to really give you kudos for really, really owning those pieces of you. So hey, when you talk about your spiritual practice and you talk about tying that into business,
yeah.
How does spirituality make your business better?
Goodness, I mean, honestly, I don't know why it's making me cry, but I don't think I would be doing business if it wasn't about the spirituality. That's how I found my way to becoming a coach. I was not always doing this. I was not always an expert, a writer, a speaker, doing all this cool stuff. Like probably a lot of people listening, I was stuck in the status quo. I was living the 9 to 5. I, at 21 years old, got a safe city job and was making $70,000 a year, and just thought, I have no clue what I'm supposed to do with my life. I guess I'll just kick it here and collect a paycheck and have this great personal life, but no real clarity around my purpose. Even though I had all these talents and gifts, like most people, I was always a great speaker. I was always a leader. I was a great writer, and all of those things now I know are the foundation of my work. But my parents are civil rights organizers, and it was a very unique upbringing. And so even though I grew up with a lot of love, and I learned from them the values of service and equality and justice and all these things that are so integral to who I am, their religion was their politics. And so I grew up in a house where we didn't talk about God, or if we did, it was more in like a cynical sort of intellectual way. Everything was always analyzed. Everything always needed proof. Everything always needed to be grounded in fact and science and all that good stuff. And so, it wasn't until, and so basically I didn't believe in God, or even felt comfortable talking about God or spirit or whatever we want to call it. But it wasn't until my life sort of just fell apart. I had these major crises. My husband and I lost a fortune in the real estate market, and we're looking at foreclosure and bankruptcy. My husband also had a really terrible career-ending injury. And so we were in these very, very sort of dark times where everything we knew that we thought was supposed to, make us feel safe and secure was crumbling around us. That it wasn't until then that I went on that really, sort of Shiro's journey of going out into the world and having to find myself and find my meaning and my purpose and my practices that made sense to me. And so I just started studying everything I could get my hands on, the connection between science and spirituality and Buddhism, and reading books and going to seminars and listening to podcasts and doing meditations and just like absorbing it like so crazy, like it was just feeding my soul. And then just taking little bits of each aspect that made sense to me. So everything I read was like, it didn't all resonate with me. There were certain aspects that I was like, okay, yeah, that works for me. And then certain practices that I would do, like being in nature, you know, where I'm like, okay, when I'm in nature, there's an undisputable fact that something more magical than me created this. I don't know how it happened, but it's pretty freaking fantastic. And I can't deny that. Right. And so, and when I'm in this space, I feel something so like lit up in me. I feel connected. I feel with it. So all of these things that I began to practice, then I got so lit up about it. I just wanted to talk to everybody about it, because I realized once you realize that you're not alone, that no matter what, you're going to be okay, that there's lessons and meaning in everything that you're experiencing, and that's why you're here. All of a sudden the stress and the fear just sort of melts away, and you go, okay, you know what? I'm just going to go along for the ride and accept what is. And then having that awareness and that consciousness, you just want to like shout it from the mountaintops. You know, you just want to be like telling the person at Starbucks or 7-Eleven, hey, did you know that life could be so much better? Did you know that you could be happy now? And just like talking to them about it. So all that said, it got me into coaching, because I was coaching people left and right with all this newfound knowledge that I had about really practical spirituality. And that's what I ended up writing my book around, which is A Woman's Guide to Having It All, Life Lessons to Live By, which is 30 life lessons. They're all practical spiritual lessons with the actual like little coaching exercises you could do. But all that to be said, that's how I started my business. And so the whole foundation of everything that I believe and everything that I teach, whether I'm teaching about spirituality or law of attraction or business or whatever it is all based in that knowing that your life has meaning, that you have purpose, that you are a direct descendant of the divine, that you are just like magnificent. And so if I didn't have all of that within me, if I didn't believe all of that, and that wasn't like fueling the work, I really don't think I would be doing it. I'd probably be doing something like some nonprofit or something, doing something like to stop the war, or some like activism like my parents or something like that.
Wow. Yeah. What a great story. And so many stories I hear behind the story. So your book sounds so inspirational. Where can we find your book?
It's on Amazon. It's it's called A Woman's Guide to Having It All, Life Lessons to Live By. And it's sort of a play on the concept of everybody wants to have it all, but that we don't realize that we already have it all. We already have everything we need within us to have that experience, that abundance, to have that really just living life to the fullest potential. We have the gifts within us. We just have to turn that light bulb on and have that awareness. And pretty much, it takes work, right? You have to be as conscious and aware in every day-to-day moment to focus on, wow, look at me here. I'm in this, beautiful house, and I have 4 walls around me, and I have these windows that the light is shining in, and I'm here in Los Angeles, and it's sunny outside, and I can go down in my kitchen and get some food. There's so much grace and privilege and abundance around me that if I was sitting here saying, oh, it's 95 degrees out and I'm so sweaty and my life sucks, and oh, I'm doing this and I don't have enough time for my launch and whatever, I could be in that mode. But instead, just like, hey, in every single moment, I can find something to focus on that is reminding me how loved I am and how cherished I am and how blessed I am.
And I love how you said that it's a choice. We do have that choice on our perspective, on our outlook. One of the practices that we have in our family is every night before bed. I have a 7-year-old son, and we all go around and say, what are we thankful for that day? And it's evolved into, at the end of it, it always has to include 1 plant and 1 animal. But it's funny that oftentimes the things that we say we're thankful for are toilets and toilet paper. Because those things that we really do take for granted, but imagine a life without those things. So, Yeah, exactly.
I love it. I mean, the kids are where it's at. They get it. They're, you know, my whole thing is like, it's not about finding these concepts. That's why it's within, right? Because they still exist there. We came in with that light. We came in with the perspective. We came in with the belief in abundance and possibility. It's just that, you know, life sort of fell on top of us and layered us in all of these, you know, stories and limitations and programs that then we wake up, you know, 30, 40, 50, 60 years old and say, there has to be something more. Now I got to go find it. And that's why spirituality and soulful practices and self-care and all that stuff, which I sort of combine into calling soul care, is so important because it reminds you, oh yeah, wait a minute, I can choose right now to wake up and be grateful to be alive. I can choose right now to look outside at these birds and say, hey birds, how you doing? You know what? We're in the same world together. Isn't that cool? You know, like there's just little things you can do, but instantly it shifts things. And then when you do sit down at your computer, you know, your emails, your posts, whatever it is that you're doing to build a business or start a business is all going to be aligned with that same why, that same vision. Not just the like, oh, I have to do this to be successful, or oh, I have to do this because I want to make 6 figures or whatever it is, which is our great goals. But it's going to happen so much faster, and it's going to happen in such a much more beautiful and sustainable way when you align yourself with really that root why and that connection to your purpose.
Absolutely. And all these tools that you're talking about and in your book, like all of these principles can be applied to anybody that's in business for themselves or in corporate America, because spiritual tools just make us better, make us more connected to everything around us, make us realize our role in the universe is different if we're complaining about everything versus if we're really connected to each other, connected to source, connected to our God. And I just love what you're doing. And don't stop, girlfriend.
Well, the other thing I just want to say, especially for those who maybe are not entrepreneurs and are happy in their careers or working a 9 to 5 and they're cool with that. So I'm not here to convert you. Although I love entrepreneurs, I'm a big advocate of becoming an entrepreneur. But what I do want to say is really the concept of the awareness is for everything is really the most important aspect. And the more that you, presuming that you do consider yourself a soulful or spiritual or even religious person, if you embrace the concept of there is sort of a master plan for your life that's unfolding and that you're co-creating that, and that you're the lead in the play of your life, that you are here to play a purpose, the more that you understand that concept or believe that concept, and again, that's a choice to believe it, but assuming that you do, then you have to realize that every experience you have, every single person that comes into your path, every animal, every plant, every living thing, every occurrence is there to give you an experience for you to have either an awareness, an epiphany, a life lesson, as well as these downloads, these messages that are guideposts for you so that you can take that journey on your path the best way possible. And that many of us who are not paying attention to, we go to check out we go to Ralph's and we're in the checkout counter and we're checking out and we're just in such a hurry. We're so stressed out. We're overwhelmed, whatever. We're on our cell phone, or we're just like with our head down, just waiting for the total instead of like actually looking at that person and saying like, hey, how's it going? How much longer you got on your shift? Whatever, blah, blah, blah. And just chatting it up, because what I've experienced is literally they will say something that I needed to hear, or I will say something that they needed to hear that then reminds me that this is what I should be doing with my life. You know what I mean? And so it's like, if you're not walking with your head up, if your head is constantly down in your phone, or if you're in the car and you're just stressed out or whatever, like you're going to miss all of these amazing signals and opportunities and lessons and messengers for you to just have, like life can be so abundantly rich when you pay attention to all that's happening in the moment that you're in.